what does that mean exactly, to guard the heart? How do we become the samurai warriors of our interior? Something about narcissists, manipulators, controllers, angry people, they often will lead with a very sad story. Oh, my father beat me as a child. My mother was an alcoholic, and she sat on the couch all day, and we were raised on TV dinners. My last girlfriend was a total bitch, and then she cheated on me. Oh, my wife died, and now I'm cooking for one. I really wish I was cooking for two. This kind of thing. And the thing is that these are all very, very sad scenarios. And we all have a sad story. And we're all walking wounded here on this planet. And the difference with these kinds of people is they use their sad story to elicit a response of empathy and compassion, and to open up our hearts for them, to them. There's a wonderful book out there by Lundy Bancroft entitled "Why Does He Do That? Inside the Minds of Angry and Controlling Men." And he says women can be like this too, but just to simplify his communication in the book, he refers to the abuser as the man and the recipient as the woman. Anyway, in this book, he says something that really has had a huge impact on me and my consciousness around this subject. It's not how they feel, it's how they think. It's not how they feel, it's how they think. Because these kinds of people, they can appear so sensitive. I mean, they can be good with children, helpful in their communities, have all sorts of, be into, wonderful activities, and seem like they're very heartful and tender souls. And the thing is that, and this activates us. We feel that chemistry. We're like, oh, and you feel like I've connected with someone, at the heart level, and all this fire, can happen, at the beginning, where you're just like, you feel this chemistry. And it's kind of confusing, because chemistry is a red flag, which seems really weird. It's like, it's kind of goes against, like, feel your feelings, be with your intuition. But if somebody's going after your heart and you barely know them, that's a huge warning sign. And this has happened to me a few times. And the thing is that I think we all, it's rare that we've had one unhealthy, dysfunctional, abusive relationship. Most of us have had more than one. And sometimes it takes a few rounds to figure out what's going on and what the pattern is. Because something that Lundy says in his book is that these men can have different, kind of come in different styles, different costumes. Like they could be the victim or the tough guy or the player. And, so, you think maybe just one of those would be that abusive personality, that angry mind controller, but they can come in different shapes and forms. So this is very confusing for us, but the similarity will be, they will try to connect with your heart. and they're going to get in there and they're going to find a way. They'll be drawing tarot cards and going to astrology sites and trying to find your compatibility and, comparing you to, talking about different books, getting into the Enneagram. Some of these guys are just really complex, and they've got some really like highly developed language around therapy and self-healing and, spirituality, And so, you just think they're the coolest person in the world. And really, they're just trying to, get in your pants or, control you so they can feel more confident, because they don't feel good about themselves, or they're, there's a trillion reasons. Anyway, the point is that you feel that fiery feeling. Get out of there. Get out of there fast and run to your best friend, to your therapist, to your support group, and sort out what's going on. And slow down. And it's hard because it's so compelling. It's very alluring, and it's very hard to break the spell. It really is. It's very, very, very difficult. Something I recently had listened to an interview, a recent interview by Joni Mitchell, and she's got to be one of the top love experts. I mean, she's spent a great part of her career writing about romance and love and heartbreak and over and over and over again. And at this point in her life, she said that she really believes that romantic love is a trick of nature, and she finds it rather ridiculous at this point. And, that true love is something that grows gently and slowly over time and deepens, over time. And somebody else had recently, we were talking about this, and they were talking about somebody they knew from Europe or just a European kind of general sort of saying, in our culture, they see us as, we start out hot and we fizzle out in relationship. And that makes sense considering our divorce rate is higher than our success rate. And they said, but in their culture, they start out cold and then they heat up over time. And I thought, wow, that's interesting. Sometimes you'll be in the connection, and there are like little warning signs while you're having all these delightful feelings. Often they'll criticize you. They'll make a little criticism about you or something. And it may not be, you feel it though. It's like you get pierced and you're like, oh, ow. But all these love feelings feel so good and you don't want them to go away. So you decide, okay, I'm gonna ignore that. Of course, we can't ignore those kinds of feelings, and they'll come out in another way. And often it'll be like we'll start feeling crazy or confused or hurt, and really you start getting all emotional and upset. So again, if something like this happens, as hard as it is, try to get out of there. Try to close the door and disengage, because it gets harder and harder as you go along, and those criticisms and little jabs here and there, they can really, over time really break you down. And, so be warned of romantic love and chemistry with somebody. So anyway, as far as guarding the heart, on the art piece, I'm seeing, here we have the heart, and my granddaughter, drew me this beautiful picture of her love heart for her grandmama. And I just love, this is one of my most favorite pieces of artwork that I own. I love the color. I love the shape of it. I love the red outline. I just treasure this. And, of course, it's way too big to put on the art piece. So what I did was I scanned it in and, made all different sizes. And, I may end up cutting up the little ones and using them somewhere on the art piece. I'm not sure yet, but, I gave myself some options. And then I have a friend who's a photographer, and I saw this in her portfolio, and I asked her if I could use this for my project. It's a little, I'm seeing it looks a little dark, but it's a gate, and you can see the beautiful foliage, the garden within the gate, and this this latch here in the front, it's a lion's head, which I think is just so cool. So anyway, I have a smaller version of this that I'm going to use on the art piece, but just to show you, I made a bigger version as well. So there'll be the heart, and then I'll put the gate in front to symbolize guarding the heart, and that will be placed right here. Okay, so that's how we guarding the heart is something we practice. And I want to say something again, like, if you feel uncomfortable in any way with somebody, don't try to figure it out in your mind. Okay, don't try to think it through. These kinds of things don't make sense. So you're not gonna figure that person out, or why you're having all this chaos, other than the fact that it is crazy making when someone criticizes you and then they're really loving and you're just like yank, 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 yank. And don't try to think it through. Just trust the confusion, discomfort, hurt. These kinds of feelings, they're telling you something. They're telling us something, that something isn't right. If something doesn't feel right, it's not right. You don't have to try to figure out every little detail in your brain. What you do with your brain is set a boundary with a person of no contact. Don't engage with that person anymore, no matter how much it hurts, and to let go of those delicious love feelings. That's not true love. That's not true love. Even though it feels like it. I know. I've gone through this, and it really rips you up. I mean, it's really hard to let go. And sometimes you'll let go of the person, and then you break the boundary because you miss them, and then you start feeling crazy again. And sometimes it takes a few times. Doesn't matter. Forgive yourself. Something I say too, don't bash and don't blame. Don't bash and blame yourself. You're just learning. We're all learning. We're learning, those of us who are coming out of a history of abuse, we're learning how to be healthy. And we're going to make mistakes. We're going to make mistakes. It's going to happen. We're gonna turn sideways. We're gonna slide off the map every once in a while. Just pick yourself up and get back on the road again, and be gentle and loving with yourself. That's what we have to do. And also, do not bash and do not blame the person that you're in the relationship with. We are responsible for our own choices. And sometimes we're not going to make the best of choices. And hopefully we will learn from those bad choices and make different ones the next time. But, don't bash or blame the other person. Just get away from them. They've got enough problems, and blaming never helps anything. And really, one of the biggest ways to heal on this journey is to take responsibility for yourself and your choices in your life. And one choice at a time, we rebuild. So don't bash, don't blame, guard your heart.